Hello, welcome back. So let's start with the historical perspectives. Today we have very precise observations and we have a very good understanding of the model of the universe. We know that Earth is revolving around the Sun in an elliptical orbit and Earth belongs to a solar system and so on. But until 17th century, a geocentric model of the universe was universally accepted. Geocentric means Earth-centered model. According to the geocentric model of the universe, Earth is considered at the center of the universe and it was assumed that Earth remains stationary at the center. And also, Sun, Moon, and the planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn moves around the Sun in circular orbits according to the geocentric model. And planets beyond Saturn were not known at that time. And it's interesting to note that this geocentric model survived partially because it appeared to work, because we know that when we observe from Earth, we feel as if Earth is remaining stationary. We don't feel the rotation or revolutionary motion of the Earth when we are at Earth. And also, this model survived partly because all objections to this model were overruled for aesthetic or philosophical reasons. For example, it was argued that all celestial bodies move in circular orbits because circles were considered as the most perfect geometrical shapes. Okay. So this picture gives us an idea about the geocentric model in which Earth was considered as the center and Sun, Moon and these planets were supposed to revolve around the Earth in circular orbits. And one of the most influential philosophers of ancient world was Aristotle, who contributed to the foundations of subjects like logic, physics, biology and humanities. You can see the versatility. And according to Aristotle, everything is made of a few basic elements like fire, air, water and earth. Aristotle also supported the geocentric model and heavenly bodies falling or air bubbles rising up in water are all just natural motions which do not need any explanations. That's what Aristotle thought. Because actually today we know that there are some scientific reasons behind this air bubbles rising up in water and heavy bodies falling down, etc. We know that heavy bodies fall down due to gravity and so on. But Aristotle thought that they are just natural motions which do not need any explanations. Okay. And Ptolemy lived in, the Greek philosopher, he lived in 2nd century AD and his theories were widely accepted till 17th century. So let us see the main features of Ptolemy's geocentric model or the so-called Ptolemaic model. According to the Ptolemy's geocentric model, as we have already seen, Earth is considered to be stationary and Earth was considered to be at the center of the universe. And Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn are all planets, including Sun and Moon, were considered to be as planets that move around the Earth. Okay, in circular orbits. And another point proposed by Ptolemy is the concept of celestial sphere. Celestial sphere is an imaginary sphere with Earth at its center. And Ptolemy proposed that the radius of that big imaginary sphere is 20,000 times the radius of Earth. Means celestial sphere means just a big imaginary sphere whose radius is 20,000 times that of the Earth, and Earth was considered to be at the center of that celestial sphere. And it was assumed that all the stars and all other astronomical objects are placed inside the celestial sphere. Okay, so we saw three points of Ptolemy's geocentric model. First one is that Earth is stationary at the center, and the sun, moon, and these planets are revolving around the Earth, and then the concept of celestial sphere. Then, connecting to this point 2, he proposed that all the planets, including sun and moon, move in orbits which are either circles or combinations of circles. Okay, that is according to Ptolemy's geocentric model. Each planet moves along a circular path called epicycle. Please concentrate at this cursor. That means each planet moves along a circular path called epicycle. This circle is called as epicycle, the center of which revolves around the Earth along a circular path called different. Fine. Each planet is moving along a circular path called epicycle, and its motion is like, please concentrate on this cursor movement. Fine. That is, the center of the epicycle is tracing another circle called different. Fine. Okay, this picture gives us some more ideas of the concept of epicycle. This circle is called as epicycle, and the circle traced by the center of this epicycle is called as different. Different, please note the center spelling. It is D-E-F-E-R-E-N-T. Fine. Okay, that goes with the point 4. And next point is the concept of eccentricity of orbit. That is because in the actual case we know that Earth is revolving around the sun, and Earth and all other planets are revolving around the sun in elliptical orbit. That means the actual observations may not or do not match with this picture of the circular orbits. So, some observers understood that the path of planets observed from Earth are not perfectly circular. So, they started objecting Ptolemy's geocentric model. And to explain this, Ptolemy proposed that the path center, the center of this different, is displaced from Earth, or Earth is displaced from the center of this circular path termed as different. And this is called as the eccentricity of orbit. That means Earth is not at the center of this orbit. That is termed as eccentricity of the orbit. Each planet is orbiting around the sun in circular orbit called epicycle, whose center traces another circular path called as different. Okay. And another interesting thing is that we know that due to the rotation of Earth from west to east, we feel as if all the stars, including our sun, is moving from east to west daily. And to explain this east to west motion of stars, Ptolemy proposed that the celestial sphere is rotating from east to west along with the fixed stars. Fine. So first point is that Earth is at the center and it is stationary. Second point is that all the planets, including Sun and Moon, are revolving around the Earth. Then the concept of celestial sphere. Then the concept of the circular orbits of the planets, which we termed as, or which he termed as, epicycle. Then the point of retrograde motion of the orbits, which says that Earth is displaced from the center of the orbit. Then the next point is the east-west motion of stars, which he explained by telling that the celestial sphere is moving east to west or rotating east to west with all the stars fixed inside. Another point is regarding the retrograde motion of planets. Here also we know that in actual case, Sun is at the center of the solar system and Earth is revolving around the Sun in an elliptical orbit, and all other planets are revolving around the Sun in their own elliptical orbit. So when we look from the Earth, at some point it is seen that the other planets are moving from west to east, and at some other point of time or season it is seen that the planets are moving from east to west, like this. It's because Earth is revolving around the Sun and other planets are also revolving around the Sun with a different speed. So in the observations we see some kind of weird motion of other planets. This was observed by some astronomers, which is termed as the retrograde motion of planets. That means the planets generally appear to move from west to east relative to other stars. However, it was noticed that sometimes planets move in the opposite direction like this. This is called as a retrograde motion of planets, and Ptolemy explained this type of retrograde or weird motion of planets with the concept of epicycle. He said that that kind of retrograde motion is due to the motion of this epicycle, or when the epicycle traces another circular path, sometimes we feel as if the planets are moving in the opposite direction. This kind of looping motion is due to the motion of the planets along the epicycles tracing another circular path called different. Anyway, Ptolemy's model overruled that objection also in terms of the retrograde motion of planets. And the last point of Ptolemy's geocentric model is that heavenly bodies are attached to transparent solid spheres placed between spherical shells surrounding the Earth. That means he supposed that all the astronomical objects are fixed to transparent solid spheres, which can be planes placed one inside the other. Okay, this picture gives us a complete idea of Ptolemy's model. Here we can see the epicycles tracing another circle called different, and here we can see the retrograde motion of the planets also. All the planets have their own circular paths like this. This can be considered as the circular path of one planet, and similarly other planet. For example, Jupiter and Saturn both have the circular paths with this epicycle and different. Fine. And because of this motion on the epicycle, we feel the retrograde motion of the planets. Fine. And Ptolemy's works were later forgotten in Europe, but it survived in Arab countries through a translation known as Al-Magest. It's the Arab translation of Ptolemy's works. And as time passed, careful observations showed mismatch with Ptolemy's model. And in India also, Aryabhatta, in his book Aryabhattiyam, written in 499 AD, argued that Earth moves. He argued that Earth is not stationary, but others did not agree, and even his disciples did not move away from the concept of geocentric model. We know that even the Catholic Church supported the geocentric model of the universe. We will be seeing the story of Galileo in the coming classes. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you. Please Please concentrate on these lectures. Try to prepare your own notes. Thank you. Thank you all.